Have you ever wondered what happens the moment a giant net closes in the middle of the vast ocean? In just a few short minutes, tens of tons of fish can be trapped in a confined space. And the commercial value of that mass of organisms can reach millions of dollars before they even reach the ship's deck. It's no longer the image of traditional fishing trips with a few fish caught, but an industrial exploitation system where data, electronic equipment, and split-second decisions determine the success or failure of an entire journey. When the radar screen displayed a dense, moving mass of signals, the captain understood that the opportunity would only exist for a very short time. The command was given, and the giant net began to slide down the water's surface, gradually expanding into an arc that enveloped the entire moving school of fish. Over the next few minutes, the net closed, the bottom tightening, turning the mass of water inside into a giant, inescapable bag. At that moment, every living thing within that area was trapped, and the sea became turbulent as thousands of fish thrashed about, creating columns of white water. Water pressure increases, the weight of the fish presses down on each strand of the net, and processing time becomes a critical factor, because if pulled too slowly, the quality of the meat will deteriorate, and if the operation is wrong, the entire net can tear and $1 million catch disappears in just seconds. On the ship's deck, the winches and cranes operate in unison, amidst the rumbling of the engines shaking the hull, while the crew moves constantly across the slippery, wet deck. Every step must be precise because they are handling tens of tons of live, moving creatures. But the ship is only the starting point of this value chain, because the real journey of the fish catch begins when they leave the ocean. Immediately after being brought ashore, the fish are either chilled or transferred to specialized compartments with strictly controlled temperature and oxygen levels to preserve cellular structure and meat quality. From here, every passing minute directly affects the commercial value of the entire catch. When the ship docks, the catch is transferred directly to industrial-scale processing plants, where machinery operates with near-perfect precision. Those that meet the highest size and quality standards are sorted separately while the rest are routed to different processing lines to maximize economic value. The cleaning, cutting, and processing procedures take place continuously at an incredible speed as the fish are filleted and portioned according to the requirements of each market. All must meet stringent food safety standards from temperature control to microbiological monitoring. Then the rapid freezing system is activated, drastically lowering the temperature of the fish meat in a short time to lock in its freshness and natural texture. From this moment, the fish is no longer just a creature of the ocean, but has become part of the global supply chain. A single catch of fish can provide food for millions, but that scale also raises unavoidable questions. Is exploitation at this level truly sustainable in the long term? The products are packaged, labeled, and distributed through international logistics systems, appearing in high-end restaurants, supermarkets, and the frozen food industry in many countries. Is economic efficiency creating increasing pressure on marine ecosystems already vulnerable to climate change and pollution? For fishermen, each trip is a combination of skill, experience, and risk-taking. For the factory, it's a constant race against time and standards. For the consumer, a multi-million-dollar batch of fish is simply a neatly packaged product on a store shelf. Few people see the entire operational chain behind the scenes, from the moment the net closes beneath the ocean to the moment the processing line stops in the factory. A vast, precise, and cold system is at work relentlessly to transform marine resources into global commodities. The oceans remain vast, but the question of the boundary between development and sustainability remains, with no definitive answer yet.